Hey guys, what's going on? Stinkfish here, back with another video to talk about my predictions and my expectations for Fastlane this Sunday. During this video, I'm going to offer both what I think will happen, what I expect WWE will happen and book, as well as what I want to happen and sort of kind of my own fantasy booking. But first, let's recap a little bit of what has happened since my last video, and I'll start off by giving a spoiler, so fast forward the video if you don't want to hear the spoiler, but I have confirmed my source that Sami Zayn will take on Shinsuke Nakamura at NXT TakeOver Dallas. This was a leaked information from a taping of NXT announcing the match between Sami Zayn and Nakamura, so that is confirmed. I did check my source on that, so that is something that I just wanted to confirm from my previous video. Also, branching off of my previous video, I would like to talk about the Dudleys. They have come out and given their promos. They gave a promo on SmackDown, they gave the same one on Raw, but basically they said their legacy is not defined by tables. Yes, it is. And that they want to be remembered for their record-setting tag team championship reigns, and so they're just sort of trying to remind everyone that they are the baddest tag team in the planet. So, I don't know, it just isn't enough for me. Like I said in the last video, they need to do something impactful. They ambushed Reigns with Paul Heyman when he was promoing against Paul Heyman, which was alright. I mean, I guess you could work that angle with them being ECW guys and Paul Heyman being the fatherhead of ECW. So that could be something, but just still isn't enough for me to take them seriously as a top-tier tag team. It's something. It's a step in the right direction if you want them to be taken seriously, but I still just don't see them being in contention for the tag titles, at least not winning it. Actually, you know what, maybe they could win it just to give them like that round number of 10 WWE Tag Team Championship reigns, even though they've had more in other companies. Just give them that round number to, I don't know. Sticking with the tag team division, the New Day do not have a booked match for Fastlane, but rather a segment on the Cutting Edge Peep Show with Edge and Christian. Now this is probably just supposed to be some sort of comedic skit with the New Day capitalizing on their mic skills, going against Edge and Christian's mic skills, and we'll just see how they sort of coincide and how they work together. I don't think there's a match. I mean, Edge has his medical reasons not to wrestle. I don't know what Christian's deal is. I think he's slated for a Hall of Fame induction at some point in the near future. And so those two working together, you have the trombone, you have the kazoo, so it'll just be something. I don't think anything's going to happen out of it. There has been speculation that maybe a match will come out, like a unannounced match with the Usos or the Dudleys or something. Speaking of which, the Usos haven't done anything since being attacked by the Dudleys, so I don't know. I just don't think anything can really happen. Plus, in my opinion, I really would have rather the New Day defended their tag team titles at this pay-per-view. But again, it's like, they're gonna win anyways, so I mean, I guess this is fine. You're trying to promote the Edge and Christian show that totally reeks of awesomeness on the network, so this is something for that. And I don't want either the Dudleys or the Usos to beat New Day for the titles. Like I said in my last video, what I want is Enzo and Cass to debut after Fastlane, and then they build up that feud, let the mics and the promos do the talking up until WrestleMania where they have their match. They really do need to build up Enzo and Cass, because if they're coming in fresh off of NXT, sure, they might be over with the crowd, but you still have to establish them as a legitimate threat in the tag team division, so you have to book them properly and have the war of words between the teams. Maybe Cass goes up against Big E, you could have the two big men fight, Kofi versus Enzo. Although Enzo, I don't know how he does in one-on-one matches, but regardless, I want to see that happen, so I want New Day to keep the titles anyway, so not having a match is fine, but that's the update with that. Sort of sticking with the tag team division, but not really. We're going to talk about the League of Nations a little bit, specifically Wade Barrett. Now, the rumor going around is that he has put in the word that he wants to leave the company at the end of his contract in June. Now, while this is a shame and the WWE has completely underutilized Wade Barrett, King Barrett, Bad News Barrett, whatever you want to call him, they've completely underutilized him, but I understand where he's coming from. He wants to leave because he's underutilized. People say he should have won the title back in 2010 when he was with the Nexus and Cena refused to put him over, which Cena has admitted that was a bad decision. Back at that time, my personal opinion was I was not a fan of Barrett. I did not think he was, I don't know, I just didn't see him as a main eventer. But that's just my opinion. The recent Wade Barrett, King Barrett, Bad News Barrett that we've seen, I've really liked and I've been really into, and I really want to see him get pushed, maybe to the main event scene, but I really liked him holding the IC title. I thought it fit him well. He was a 5-time IC champion, but ever since his injury, the pinched nerve in his neck or whatever that was, he's done nothing. WWE has been either nervous to do something, or Wade Barrett just hasn't been cleared to do anything. And I guess that's just reason enough for him to want to leave the company. And you know what, if that's what he wants to do, if that's going to make him happy, more power to him. I wish him the best. I have heard rumors that he wants to go to UFC. That'd be interesting. Let's see a Wade Barrett versus CM Punk rivalry in UFC. Interesting. And the last update I want to give is we have a new Intercontinental Champion in Kevin Owens. Now this, I thought, was awesome. You had Dean Ambrose come out and kick off Raw. For the first time, it's not the Authority kicking off Raw, or Roman Reigns. It's Dean Ambrose. He comes out calling out Brock Lesnar. Stephanie McMahon comes out, just like, and then she announces a fatal 5-way for the Intercontinental Championship. And I was like, this is awesome. 1, it's a great match that we're going to get to see. 2, it's also going to be a reason to take the IC title off of Ambrose, which now just almost makes me feel like they are pushing him to the world title picture even more. I really think that they are going the route of the man who holds the IC title is the future heavyweight champion. Somewhere down the road, Dean Ambrose will be a heavyweight champion. That's what I believe is what they are doing with the IC title, which also means now somewhere further down the road, Kevin Owens. I want him to hold this title. He won the title. Kevin Owens is a champion. I'll get to that in a second. I want him to hold the IC title for a while, become more established, become more of a threat, and then somewhere down the road, he can enter the main world title picture. He can enter the main event. But this 5-way match was awesome. You had Dean Ambrose, and then out comes Kevin Owens, understandable. And then you have, I think it was Stardust came out next. So I was like, alright, he's not winning the title, but okay, he's a great performer. Tyler Breeze comes out. I'm like, alright, they're giving Tyler Breeze some recognition, putting him in a title match. That's good. He's making progress. They're pushing him where he needs to be. And then they bring out Dolph Ziggler. And so you knew it was going to be either Owens or Ziggler winning the title, and now their match at Fastlane is for the IC title. So let's get right into it, and first I'm going to start by offering what I think should happen, what I want to happen, almost sort of like a fantasy booking, match by match. So let's start with that Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler. Of course, I want Owens to retain the title. I don't think Ziggler is over enough. He's over, but just not relative to how he used to be, and I really think Kevin Owens should just get the push because he is a more solid choice to kind of carry the company in a few years. Just down the road, he needs to be the solidified, threatening, intimidating main eventer. I don't know if threatening and intimidating are the right words, but I want him to be the guy who can be there like as a top tier competitor. So I want him to win, hold the IC title, solidify and legitimize Kevin Owens, make him winning, make him a champion, the prize fighter that he is. Just push him that way. I want Kevin Owens to win. I want him to hold on to the title, because then we are also talking about WrestleMania. Who do you want to go into WrestleMania as the IC champion? Dolph Ziggler to defend the IC title at WrestleMania, or Kevin Owens in his first WrestleMania? I think he should be defending his IC title. Sure, you could try to book it where Dolph wins and then Kevin Owens goes into his first WrestleMania to win the IC title in his rematch clause, but I feel like that's just a worthless title reign for Dolph Ziggler. And also I want Owens to go on to feud with AJ Styles, and putting the IC title on the line also bumps AJ up even more into the title picture. So I'll branch off of that, and now let's talk about the next confirmed match, AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho. I want AJ Styles to win this. Again, Chris Jericho is a part-timer still. He's on more regularly right now, and I just read that he has been advertised for more shows post-WrestleMania, more like live event shows or whatever for post-WrestleMania, so he's going to be sticking around. But to me, he's still a part-timer. You could throw him into a match with Kevin Owens and AJ Styles for the IC title, if I'm just kind of going ahead of myself here. What Culture Wrestling, they are a great YouTube channel, subscribe to them. But so they said, Adam said that he wants Y2J to get the 10th IC title reign, just a nice round number to round off his record and just close it off at that. But I just want AJ Styles to win this match, go on, he gets the rubber match. He's even more legitimized by beating Chris Jericho, the 6-time World Heavyweight Champion, 9-time Intercontinental Champion, and then that's the rubber match. They can close that feud, and AJ can go on to feud with Kevin Owens. So next, I'll talk about the pre-show match between Kalisto and Alberto Del Rio for the United States Championship. Now this one, I have a few different opinions on as to where I want it to go. I want to say Kalisto should win this. Also, this is a 2 out of 3 falls match. Going back to my last video, I said that if you're gonna keep going on with this rivalry, this back and forth rivalry, you can't just keep doing one-on-one matches. I wanted a stipulation match, and I got what I wanted. Stipulation match, 2 out of 3 falls. I know it's not ladders or tables or anything like that, but this is fine. It's a stipulation, it's something different. Now you're introducing the element of endurance and who can last longer. So this is different. I want Kalisto to win it just because I'm trying to think ahead. Although I feel like the tag team division is a little weak. I feel like the New Day has beaten everyone, and it would be nice to see the Lucha Dragons go on to compete for the tag titles. I would rather have Enzo and Cass come up and compete for the tag team titles. So having said that, I'd also at the same time rather Kalisto go on to keep defending the United States Championship, especially at WrestleMania. And I just don't want Alberto Del Rio to have the United States Championship. I just don't. He's mixed in with the League of Nations, and it's just sort of diminished him a little bit. Like right now, he is the standout guy in the League of Nations. He has a match, and he's on the pre-show, and everyone else doesn't have a match. Sheamus doesn't have a match. Rusev doesn't have a match. Barrett's leaving. So it's like, they're not a threatening group. They're not like, you can't take them seriously. Del Rio is the only one who you can even remotely take seriously because he's competing for the championship. Moving on, now the Wyatts have a match. I said in my last video that they weren't booked for a match and you didn't know what they were going to do. Speculation is that they're going to attack Brock Lesnar during his match or before his match. But now they have a match against the Titans, Big Show, Kane, and Ryback. This is a throwaway match. Like, what do the Titans have to gain from winning this match? The Wyatts have everything to lose by losing this match. It just kind of crushes them and makes them look weak and takes away their presence that they've established so far. Big Show even just said on the Stone Cold podcast that he is here to help develop the younger talent. He doesn't care about wins and losses. He doesn't care about accolades or anything like that. He just wants to develop the younger talent. And if Big Show is as smart about the business as he portrays himself to be, that means the smart thing is to have Bray Wyatt, well, not Bray Wyatt, but have the Wyatt family win to keep up their reputation as a top tier faction that you need to be scared of. Also, if you want the Wyatt family to have a prominent role at WrestleMania, you need them to have the momentum, you need them to get the win here. Big Show, Kane, and Ryback, they're all probably just going to get thrown in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, so it's not like they're doing anything significant. The Wyatt family, speculation is that they're going to take on Brock Lesnar. Again, I still say 4-on-1, just because Brock Lesnar versus any one individual is a terrible match. I actually just had a comment battle with someone about Bray Wyatt taking on The Undertaker at WrestleMania, and I said, no, you can't fill seats with that match because it happened last year, and it's just writing the same story. It's just not a good idea. Not a good idea. Not at all. So what I want to happen, my fantasy booking, Wyatts win the match. Maybe it's closely contested, but the Wyatts win the match. Clean. I don't know. Bray Wyatt has some sort of shenanigans, but that's just a heelish tactic. They still win. Now let's get into the Divas portion of the evening, and we'll start with Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch versus Naomi and Tamina. I'm getting sort of like a Team Hell No vibe between Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. You know, they had their partnership in NXT as Team Bay, and so having them paired together here, they're really portraying them as like not being friends, which I guess makes sense because they really haven't been in WWE, but they have that chemistry together where they can work as a team. They both know that they're fighting a common enemy, and it's almost like a Team Hell No sort of thing, where it's like you have two people on the opposite ends of the spectrum who don't like each other, but they're forced to team together because they work well together in the ring and they have a common enemy. I'll give more credit to What Culture Wrestling because Adam was doing a fantasy booking for WrestleMania 32, and he suggested you have a number 1 contenders match for the Divas title at WrestleMania where you have Naomi win, and at the same time you have Sasha Banks win the title at WrestleMania, because then you can continue the feud there and bump Naomi up, give her more credibility for the Divas Championship. And I'm just going to say I agree with that. That's a smart idea. But for now, you need Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch, who are still contenders for the championship. I don't care what they want to do with Brie. Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch are the 2 contenders for the title, so they need the momentum, they need the win. And that's how I would book the match, and I also sort of spoiled how I would book the next match, the Divas Championship match between Charlotte and Brie Bella. Again, I alluded to this in my last video. Brie Bella she got one roll-up win on Charlotte. Like, it's just, and automatically she's in contention for the title. No, I don't know, it doesn't feel right to me. Again, I feel like they're just sort of going after the Daniel Bryan retirement thing and Nikki Bella successful surgery thing. Like, they're just giving that knock to Brie and giving her the title match. I'm gonna talk about what I think will happen later based on WWE's creative, but for now, what I would do: Brie does not win. Charlotte goes on to defend the title at WrestleMania against either Sasha Banks or Becky Lynch or both. Actually, I'm gonna say I would rather have Sasha versus Charlotte than Becky versus Charlotte. I think that would be a better match. We've seen Charlotte versus Becky so far. And so either triple threat or Sasha versus Charlotte. That's how I would book it. And now the main event, the triple threat match between Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Brock Lesnar. I don't know how I would book this. I would book, like, you tell me who's gonna win the match, I can book WrestleMania for you. But as a matter of who wins this, I feel like it can go any way. You can have Roman Reigns win it, and he goes on to finish that story with Triple H, and that's how they close the feud. You know, they keep trying to push Roman Reigns as a top dog, and so they have him win, and Roman Reigns will go on to face Triple H at WrestleMania. At the same time, what do you do with Dean? What do you do with Brock? I say you either have those two face each other, continue their feud, because it's amazing, and I would love to see the promos between Dean Ambrose and Paul Heyman, if those two face each other. But then you're also sort of left with, who does The Undertaker face? There's rumors right now that John Cena might try to push for a WrestleMania return. He just tweeted something out earlier, basically saying he's going to take a gamble, take a risk, and lace up. Hashtag lace up. But so let's say you do Dean versus Brock at WrestleMania. Who does Undertaker face? Because there's not really much left. And what do the Wyatts do? I don't know because the Wyatts are speculated to face Brock at WrestleMania. So if you do Dean versus Brock, who do the Wyatts face? Who does Undertaker face? Do not put them up against each other. Don't even do Undertaker versus Braun. I don't want to see that. But what do you do? At the same time, let's say you have Dean win. Dean wins, goes on to face Triple H. You kind of close that off. Dean has all the momentum right now. This is what I want to happen. Just because I'm going to say that, yes, this is my fantasy booking. I'm going to say I want Dean to win because he goes on to face Triple H. Although it does feel a little weird not having Roman get the closure he needs with Triple H and getting established as the top dog. I want Dean to win, go on to face Triple H. Dean's got a whole wave of momentum right now. I think everything is just lining up for him. To me, it just feels like it's his time. Especially someone pointed out that tonight's event is in his home state of Ohio, so he's gonna get the pops for it. So I don't know, and I just think if you're gonna do the heel turn angle, don't turn Dean heel. That's a bad idea because the crowd's just gonna pop for him anyways. Turn Roman heel. Make it sort of like a Randy Orton deal where he turns heel and he's just like an established heel for a while, and he uses that heel status to push him to the top of the card. And he's already in the top of the card, but use that heel status to make the fans actually care about him. The fans already are booing him. If he's a heel, they'll just love to boo him even more. Sure, he might get some cheers here and there, but he's a heel and the fans want him to be heel, and they're gonna love him being heel, and they're gonna love to boo him. If Roman Reigns is heel, you can almost put him in the Authority. Again, like I said with the Randy Orton role, he's sort of like the Authority's hand-picked guy to be the top guy and be the main eventer. I just want Roman heel. Just turn him heel. It's the easiest route. Or just have them both be faces. That's just, I don't know. That's how I would book it. If you're going to turn someone heel, turn Roman heel or leave them both baby faces. Dean heel is just not going to work out. I don't care how many times you align him with Triple H. The fans are still going to pop like crazy for him, regardless of how good of a heel Dean would be. The fans just love him way too much, and they're just going to keep cheering for him, and they're going to keep booing Roman Reigns. I don't care how the WWE tries to do it. That's just how the fans are going to react. So you could have Dean versus Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship. You could also do Brock versus Roman 2, have them sort of close off their feud, because they had a confrontation on Raw, and they keep having these confrontations building up to the triple threat. But it just still feels like there's something that needs to be closed in that one-on-one feud. So you could book that match for WrestleMania. Or you can keep going with the Brock versus Wyatt's angle for some reason, but if you want to go that way, then you can also have Roman take on The Undertaker. Now, I know this isn't a popular decision, but you could do that, and that could be sort of the essence of the Roman Reigns heel turn. You could get a lot of heat on Roman if he's the one taking on The Undertaker in his retirement match, if it's his retirement match. The fans are already booing Roman, so if you turn him heel, then put him up against The Undertaker in Dallas, Taker's home state, it could just be a magical moment. And I think they could put on a good match. I know Roman's not the greatest in-ring worker. I think he's good. I just don't think like his style is what the fans are looking for right now. But I think The Undertaker and Roman Reigns could work well together. I just think Roman is that style that The Undertaker could work best with. Maybe not work best with, but I think The Undertaker could make him look great. And I think it would be a great match. And the fans would be really into it. They'd be booing the heck out of Roman. And Undertaker would be way over. And that's just how I would book it. Dean wins. Undertaker versus Roman. Brock does something. I don't know what. I don't want to. Unless it. Alright, if I'm booking this, my booking, Brock versus all 4 members of the Wyatts. Just because I don't know what else to do with Brock. There's no one else he could go up against. The Rock isn't clear, so you can't do Brock versus Rock. My booking, Brock versus all 4 Wyatts at WrestleMania. Roman versus Undertaker. Dean wins the triple threat because we're talking about Fastlane. Dean wins the triple threat and goes on to face Triple H at WrestleMania. Or the third option, you can have Brock Lesnar win the match and he goes on to face Triple H for the championship. Sure, there's not much story there, but you have the two of the top guys in the company's history, and they're facing off for the biggest prize at WrestleMania in Dallas, with the potential of having the highest attendance record since WrestleMania 3. Plus, if Brock wins, you can have the brothers face each other at WrestleMania, do a brother versus brother angle. They can face each other and have that storyline closed off. Now let's talk about what I think will happen, sort of my predictions, my expectations for Fastlane. So I think AJ Styles will win. I'm really hoping that this is what they will do. They could have AJ Styles win, keep solidifying him as a top guy in WWE. But at the same time, I think that they could give Jericho the win and then push him towards the IC title. If I'm to put my money down, I'm going to say AJ Styles wins. That's my prediction. Alberto Del Rio versus Kalisto. My prediction is Kalisto wins, just because I don't think that they're going to do much with Del Rio. I don't think they're going to do much with the Lucha Dragons either. I just don't see it happening. I think they'd be better off pushing Kalisto. Del Rio is probably going to stay with the League of Nations because they still want them to be a top group. Prediction, Kalisto. Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler. My prediction is the same thing as what I want. Kevin Owens wins, just because I don't think they're going to do anything with Dolph. I just don't see them doing that. I know they're trying to push Dolph as a guy, but I think it's just to give Kevin Owens a rivalry and also put something around the IC title. But my prediction nonetheless is Kevin Owens wins. For this next match, this prediction matches my fantasy booking, just like all the other matches I've stated so far. The Wyatts will beat the Titans, just because, again, Big Show talked about putting younger talent over and making them look good. I just don't think WWE is going to do anything with Big Show, Ryback, or Kane. I think they're still trying to push the Wyatts as a top group. My prediction goes to the Wyatts. And once again, my prediction matches my fantasy booking, where I think Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch will beat Naomi and Tamina. That's what I want to happen, but it's also what I think they're gonna do with them. Again, just because Naomi and Tamina are not in the title picture yet, although I would like to see Naomi get into the title picture in the future, right now they're still pushing Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch as two top contenders for the championship, so I think that they will get the win. My prediction goes Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. As for the Divas Championship match, I don't know what I'm gonna predict, because on one hand, I do want to say Charlotte is supposed to be the top diva right now. She carries the title into WrestleMania for a great match. But the whole Daniel Bryan thing is throwing me off, especially with the rumors of Brie Bella now retiring and come the summertime. So it almost feels like maybe they will give her one last title run. I don't know. It's WWE. You never know with them. Well, you do know some things, but I don't know. Here it just feels like I wouldn't be surprised if they gave Brie Bella the win. But it's just like, why? You're going to send Brie Bella into WrestleMania 32 when you could have a potential Charlotte versus Sasha Banks or Charlotte versus Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch angle. You're going to throw Brie Bella as the champion heading into WrestleMania. I'm going to say I wouldn't be surprised if Brie Bella wins, but I'm still going to put my money on Charlotte. And for my last prediction, the one certain thing is I do not predict that Brock Lesnar will win the triple threat. I just don't think that's the route the WWE is going, although he could just keep being the beast and keep manhandling everyone in his path and go back to being the champion and almost sort of bring prestige to the championship, because he was at least better with it than Triple H when he would sit on the shelf for 3 months holding the title. I just feel like it's weird having Triple H holding it, because you know he's there every single day playing some role in the authority. So, but it's like with Brock Lesnar, he's off doing his own thing. He's doing whatever he wants because he's Brock Lesnar. But Triple H is there in the company every day holding the title. I don't know, that one feels weird. but I'm okay with Brock Lesnar holding the title and defending it once every 3 months. But regardless, I predict that they will not have Brock Lesnar win the triple threat. Rather, I'm a little iffy on whether or not I would put my money on Roman or Dean, simply because, like I said, they still want Roman to be the top guy. They still want to book him as the future face of the company. So I would not be surprised if they have him win the match, go on, get his redemption at WrestleMania, beat Triple H for the championship. But at the same time, it's just like everything feels right for Dean. Like I said earlier, he just dropped the IC title, and I feel like what they want to do is bring the IC title back to what it used to be, as being the man who holds it before they win the World Heavyweight Championship, i.e. Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior, etc., etc. So Dean dropping the title, plus the event being in Ohio, plus the fact that he's really been sort of like the front man building up to this triple threat match, whether it's like him attacking Roman Reigns or him calling out Brock Lesnar. He's been the one that this triple threat has really been centered around. And so Roman hasn't had much of a voice, Brock's still been the beast, but Dean's been the most vocal, and he's been the one at the center of all the action. So it just feels like they're lining it up, like everything's just lining up for him. I don't know if I want to put my money on it though, because it's WWE, and it's just like I don't know if they would actually do it. But I feel like everything is lining up for him. At the same time, it's WWE, and I almost want to say that they're gonna book Roman Reigns to win the match, again, to just go the safe route. That's what they've done all along. And they'll continue going the safe route and have Roman Reigns win, go on to WrestleMania, beat Triple H for the title, have his moment. And either way, with Dean or Roman winning, it's like at WrestleMania, you could have that moment where you have Seth Rollins last year held up the title at the end of the event. The event closed off with Seth Rollins holding the title high above his head, and he was the first member of the Shield to really reach that status of being the world champion. Now this year, you have the potential of either Roman Reigns or Dean Ambrose. This is my prediction. Either Roman Reigns or Dean Ambrose will close off WrestleMania holding the title high above their head. Now next year, maybe it's the third man. It's a little cheesy, but that's what I would like to see happen. You have Seth Rollins, then either Roman or Dean, and then next year, WrestleMania 33, it's the other of Roman or Dean. But so my prediction, who is going to win the triple threat, Roman Reigns or Dean Ambrose? If I'm to put money on it, despite what I want to happen, and despite what I feel like is happening, with Dean, just like everything lining up for Dean, my prediction is going to go to Roman Reigns. So that's what I think of Fastlane, guys. The event is right around the corner. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. If you want more videos, subscribe. I'll keep making these. I'll keep talking about it. I am Stinkfish. It's been nice talking to you guys, and I'll see you next video.